Welcome to What's Coming in Business Central 2023 Wave 2. Hey, I'm Eric, and it's that time of year. Microsoft has just released the list of their plan for. Well, actually, let's clarify what it is that they have released a plan for, because this trips people up every half year. So I think it's worth repeating. So Microsoft works in waves, and each time they start a new wave, we get a new major version number. So we are in this unique situation that we're going to have version 23 come out in 2023, which is kind of interesting that the universes are lining up. But that does not mean that the list we're about to look through, that when we hit October 1, this is all the stuff that we're getting on October 1. That's not the case. It's a wave. So this is what they're going to work on in that period of time from October 1st till March 2024. In reality, the way the other waves have worked is that, we get most of it in October, and we get most of it in November, and we get the last couple of bits in December, and then the wave is kind of thinning out, and we're just getting the white foam on the beach, kind of the last few drops of things before the next wave hit us on April 1st. So if you're on-prem, the 0.0 versions are not complete. That's the weird thing about this, that now we get version 23, but 23.0 is not a complete version. Something might be there in preview or might not be there, and stuff like that. So it's a wave, and it's a result of rapid release and working in the cloud, and we just have to understand that. Anyway, before we get too bored with all that chat, let's go have a look at the list, and of course hopefully there is a link below to the list. If not, then yell at me. So anyway, here's the list, and there's a bigger list that contains all the other dynamic stuff for this wave. But now we'll just run through the Business Central list, and as usual, disclaimer that stuff can be added to list and get removed again, and we've seen that over and over, that if you grab this video and compare it to the video that will come when they finally released version 23, and compare, the list might not be the same. But anyway, this is the list we have right now. And the first thing we have on the list is adopt faster with Power Platform. So this is kind of weird, because we are already got some of these things, like support business event in Business Central Connector of Power Automate. That kind of just came by. So public preview is already there in version 22 point something, but it is in general availability in version 23. I guess some of these things are kind of weird. That is this preview, because that's preview on the power side of things. Anyway, change modification limits for triggering flows and bulk updates. There are some things going on in the world of power when we get bulk updates, and we're now changing the limit from 100 to 1,000, open up for more advanced scenarios. So I still think Microsoft are doing this wrong. We have a lot of fixed number operational limits. So if you have a Business Central with 5 users, you have the same operational limits of how many APIs and how many hooks and in this case how many rows you can pull from a virtual table, as if you have 500 users. There's some of these things does not make any sense from a scalability, that maybe something should be scalable by user, something should be scalable by user times companies, something should be scalable by users times production environments times companies, or there's still some weird things going on here. There's a if you're using the Dataverse integration, there's a limit in how many API calls BC can make to Dataverse, which are great unless you have 100,000 customers and you want to do a force a sync, and then everything breaks down because at some point you're running out of API calls. There's some limits that are. I think scalability could be better. Anyway, enable specific virtual tables when you connect to Dataverse. So instead of, I think the idea is to have predefined tables, so you can enable what specific ones there is. I don't know. Get control over how to view Power BI embedded content. Up till now, you can only see the first page, and there's a fixed size and stuff like that. The view is simply better. The embedded view is going to be better. So that's good. I like that. So that was the Power Platform. So not really much going on here. The next one is the application thing, and I think I have if you have watched previous versions of this kind of videos, thank you. You're probably a subscriber. It's not a great time to subscribe, but I have been critical towards Microsoft, saying that the application needs more love, and I think version 23 right now is gearing up to be an app love version, because this is actually a substantial list, so that is pretty cool. There are probably some functional folks that will go more deep on these, so I'll just keep it kind of brief. So availability overview helps you calculate quantities in your warehouse, so we can get I think I remember there's a screenshot here. From source documents or sales order, production orders, assembly orders, or jobs, you can access information about the availability of items in your warehouse. The information is real-time and respects factors that affect availability, such as dedicated bins and locked bins and stuff like that, or stuff that items might be reserved, and pretty nice. I like it. Configure the right level of handling for different warehouse operations. So up till now, we kind of have a one-size-fits-all when it comes to either your warehouse processes or you're not. But now you get to select what could be a warehouse operation, what could just be an inventory operation. I like to see how this will play out in details, but it sounds like a great way to get a hybrid model going for some companies. So here's a big one, and this is, well, it's weird that they haven't got around to this before. I have been asking for this. Apparently now they listened, or maybe they'll listen to someone else. I don't really care, because now we can get intercompany across environments. So one thing that happened slightly, under the radar, is that in SaaS there is a limitation of 300 companies per environment. So if you are one of those few companies that has a bunch of legal entities, a shipping company that has legal entity for every vessel, or a property management company that has a company for every building, or whatever it might be, you might run into the 300 company limits, which I think is fair enough, because the more companies you have, the more tables you have in the database, and the more complicated and time consuming it becomes to actually perform updates, because you gotta create one gigantic SQL transaction to update thousands and thousands and thousands of tables in one single transaction. So I can see Microsoft's issue here, but the problem was that the answer of multiple environments wasn't really a great option, because none of the application things support multiple environments. We have .change company, and that's it. In my Toolbox app, if you ever tried my Toolbox app, I actually added a .change environment, so you can read data in a different environment. But we don't have that in real AL, only in my bastard AL in the Toolbox. But now we get cross environment multi-company setup. So I can't wait to see how they pull this off. That's just gonna be awesome. I 2 thumbs up for that one. Edit in Excel. They just added that to a bunch of new pages, journal pages, warehouse worksheets, and so on. Great. Timesheets. Some quality of life additions to timesheets, so you can copy a timesheet. So if I'm just gonna have the same timesheet as last week, copy to this week, you can do that, and you can do multi approval. So quality of life stuff. And speaking of approvals, you can now, with intercompany journals, you also get the option of approving an intercompany journal, which you couldn't do before. So that's pretty good. Make intercompany transactions across Business Central environments. Yeah, we got that. That's this is actually finance consolidation, and this is, so everything is kind of the same thing. So just as multiple stories. So just the next step for sales and production orders. So I read that, before I start this video, I kind of go through all these things, and I look at the title and then figure out what could this be about. I said, suggest the next step for sales and production orders. There's probably something fancy AI or stuff like that. Finally, we get a good use of AI. Business Central, blah, blah, blah. Business Central offers a reservation worksheet that can help you reserve and allocate incoming goods in bulk, so you can be sure that quantities are available for your sales and production orders. Based on the quantity you entered in inventory, Business Central displays a status on the document, so you're quickly aware of the next step. For example, Business Central will indicate that you can ship a sales order or start to work on a job, and so on. And then they have a nice scenario, and we can reserve from stock, and not quite AI, but interesting. So documents that are ready for processing move to the next stage. If you remember another video we had on the channel, it was after Directions EMEA. They showed a internal hackathon video really fast at EMEA, and I recorded it, and we looked at it frame by frame together on the channel like half a year ago, I guess. And there were some, if you frame freeze, you could see actually get some information. And there were like a flow chart of how certain things move through the system. And this one kind of indicate a more process-oriented approach, and that's interesting. So maybe this is just the first step of getting more process into some of these core functionalities in Business Central. Sync document and posting date for sales and purchases. So a document has a posting date and a document date, and depending on who you are, there might be rules that have to be the same or something like that. So now you get an option of forcing them to be the same. Troubleshoot Shopify integration issues. Yeah, more logging. Great. Awesome. Usability improves. Usability improves for warehouse inventory and tracking. Improvements, perhaps. Create warehouse employees during testing and pre-sale. Do you want to set them up? So everyone who has tried to work with warehouse will know that you're not a warehouse user or location and stuff like that. So quality of life stuff. Use directed pick and put away suggestion in basic warehouse configuration. I'm not even going to open that, but that sounds cool. If I don't know anything about warehousing, to be honest. Use general ledger allocation to distribute cost and revenue more effectively. So this one is kind of interesting. So now we can we get a what do we get? Do we get a allocation worksheet? You can use automatic account codes to assign a percentage of the total salary to automatic post as an overhead expense, or you can use headcount per department to distribute cost to the department-related dimension. You can define your allocation keys based on fixed amount, variable amounts, statistical accounts. Interesting. Let's see when this one gets a bit more meat on the bones. This might be actually a something a GP can do. If you know that, let me know in the comments below. GP guys, girls, folks. I thought GP had something like that. Okay. Finally, of course, Copilot and AI innovation. There has to be an AI section now. Complete bank account reconciliation faster with Copilot. AI-powered transaction matching and AI-generated explanation how remaining transaction could not be matched. Interesting. This... Yeah, let's see how that plays out. We already have stuff like the payment forecasts and things like this. So maybe. So this does not sound like a chat GTP kind of thing. This is more like a machine learning on your data, pattern matching on your data. But let's see. And here you can see that this one just says public preview in October, meaning that it's not ready. And there's no definition of when this will actually be general available. So let's see. Get marketing text suggestion with Copilot. I thought we already had that. Moves from public preview to general availability. So yeah, overlapping. Again, you got the old wave retracting and the new wave splashing in over the old one, which is kind of why we see things that we already knew here. Yeah, maybe they should have a list stuff that's just going GA from the last wave. Country and regional. We're adding more countries. So I think they're up at 133 countries right now, and still adding other stuff. I'm not going to run through this other than one thing that we've already seen is the ability to control regional settings per report and language per report instead of globally. So let's say that you are in a multi-language scenario. Here in Canada, we have provinces that also use French, and something needs to always be printed in French, even though the user that logs on might be English speaker, and cases like that, which right now we kind of hard code our way by creating a French only report and stuff like that, but now we can do better. Then we got Czechia stuff, we got some Denmark stuff, e-submission of VAT return, and e-invoicing, and there's a supporting more countries. Maybe the list is here. Oh, see here. In combination with blah, 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 we are making Business Central online available to serve customers in 150 plus countries and region. So I think the important part here is that with Business Central, we do not have 150 plus localizations. So making Business Central available in a country means that if you have an Azure account, you have an Azure tenant registered in that country, will Business Central be available for you? The actual localization in Business Central might just be that you are getting one of the others, you're getting the WE1, or maybe there's a local partner who have put in a localization app on App Source that you need to get afterwards. And some of them you might get a localization from Microsoft, but just because it's here doesn't mean that, hey, it's a total customized version for that country specifically. No, this means that at least you can buy a WE1 version while having a tenant in that country. Development, which is a short list this time, and it may probably get longer as they reveal more and more, but right now it's kind of a short list. Open Visual Studio from web client to investigate and troubleshoot extensions. So the idea is that from the web client you can kind of click and then you get a project, a VS Code project with dependencies that are already set, and you can download the symbols and you get a launch JSON that will match where you are. Here's the list instead of me trying to memorize it. So you get a new session, you get a project, you get launch configuration, you get symbols downloaded, you can look if source code symbols are available, you can look at that, and it's going to be interesting. Totally going to do a video on that when that comes out. Turn off data analysis mode on pages and queries. So now we got if you turn on in feature management, you have turned on the new analysis mode, which is the greatest thing in version 22. By far, the greatest addition to version 22 is the built-in analysis mode. I have used that way more than I think I have used it just as much as I thought I would, because from the beginning I thought this is going to be cool. I have had users that are basically clueless, in a good way, end up building their own little report and getting the exact numbers they need out of that one. And it's just great. So, but some pages might not really be geared toward using it. So now you have the option of setting that, hey, this is on this page, you should not use it. Tenants admin can turn off the data analysis mode for specific users. That's interesting. Anyway, turn off indexes as a partner. This one is AL developers can get an overview of index cost and usage frequency. They can then turn off indexes that are infrequently used and that are too expensive to maintain. By doing this, the performance of database operation can greatly be improved. I have mixed feelings about this because, you know, what if you turn off a lot of indexes because they're not in use, and then you go to App Source and get an app that happens to be needing those indexes to run good. So now we have to, do we get an option as metadata on our app saying that our app really needs these indexes to work great? So when you install the app, you say, hey, by the way, you turned off these indexes before, but now you're installing an app from App Source that needs them. So can we turn it back on? Let's see. I'm skeptical on that one. How it's going to play out. I can totally see, hey, you got a crazy index somewhere that was built to support one report and nobody ever runs that report, and so let's not run it. So that is interesting. I can't remember if it said anything else in here. No, it does not. Governance and administration, assign more granular administrator rights. So right now, if you got access to Admin Center, you can do anything. Improve, update, release processes, depending on have you set a window or haven't you set a window. So they're making it better. Cancel cloud migration replication runs. So sometimes if suddenly you get a cloud migration replication run started and it runs for hours and that was the wrong one and something, see, yeah, now you can kill it. Cool. Legislation, digital vouchers, e-documents core as a global solution. Large companies to report payment time. So in a lot of countries, and I think I made a solution for this for Experian all the way back in I don't know, in the early 2000s, where you could report payment time. So this company always pays 22 days after the due date or 2 days before, stuff like that. And there are like companies like Experian that collects all the information and put out reports and say this industry usually don't pay their bills on time, or this does, and so on. And some countries has a mandatory thing where if you are above a certain size, you have to report this, and so we're supporting it. The other thing, e-documents. So the continuous transaction control package is a relatively new term that is used to describe mandatory real-time invoice reporting and validation by the tax authorities through e-invoicing and transaction. Yes, somebody who are more into accounting and laws about stuff can probably figure this one out. I live in a country where there's not much so this is really not something I've spent a lot of time on now. So go check out some of the others who might tell you with enthusiasm about this. Onboarding. Modify text on the welcome banner and skip banner intro state. Set initial. That's fine. I think the welcome thing. The problem with that is that I'm no longer qualified to say anything about it, because I have gone blind, because I have seen it so much that I ignore it. It's not there. So I don't know if it works. If a brand new user comes into Business Central and see this welcome banner, does it work? And I have no idea. I've seen it too much. I'm welcome banner blind by now, so no opinion. But yeah. Set initial role before first sign in for a better first run experience. I think that is interesting. The problem is that the very first time a user touches Business Central is not at this point an optimal experience, because there are some egg and the chicken kind of catch-22 cases where we need the user to log on for the user to exist in order for us to do stuff on the user. So we need the user to log in before we can get them there. There are some things that is not optimal. We got the license configurations where we can get them the right permissions and so on, but there's lots of other things that we kind of have to do after a user has logged on the first time. We just talked about warehouse onboarding and warehouse user and locations and stuff like that. User setup with the allowed posting to and from. There's tons of stuff, and role is one of them. Of course, they need to have the right role. So this is still a problematic, true, nice onboarding experience for a new user to an existing tenant. Let's continue because time is flying. Productive with Microsoft 365. There's some quality of life enhancements for the Excel add-in. You get dimension or more pages, and we're now using the latest OData v4 technology. Yeah, I thought we already did that. And something on-prem. Quality of life thing. I don't really understand it. Reporting and data analysis. Analyze groups and pivot data on queries using multiple tabs. Public preview. Oh no, that's not it. So we have the analysis thing. It's possible to analyze data from any query the same way as on list pages. From any analysis tab, you can share links to the tabs with coworkers. So that's kind of right now a bomber. You create a great report with the analysis view, and then it's only yours. So you cannot share your work. You can now. That is nice. That's a nice touch. I like that. Discover reports and data analysis content easily. End users can now discover reports and data analysis content, including queries, report, and Power BI pages by using the navigational search. Tell me, by using navigational search. I think we should just rename this thing to the search function. Or the new Report Explorer page. That's interesting. So that could probably be cool, because the system actually has a tremendous amount of reports that nobody knows exists, and some of them are most of them are just navigational by the search function. So if we have an Explorer page, that could be cool. Get Power BI reports for reporting and data analysis of finance, sales, and inventory. So I think what they're saying is that they are building. So it's really interesting how these, when we go through all these, that we can see that these are written by different people at Microsoft. So in this case, we will do the following. That's that's nice. Here's a statement. This is what we're going to do. Gotta add some API queries, sure, but we're gonna build Power BI reports and package them into a Power BI app that is available on App Source. Excellent. So you can just grab the reports from App Source directly into Power BI. Nice. I like the we will. This is what we're gonna do here. Manifesto. This is what we do. Okay, we are almost to the end. No, we're not. Yeah, we are now almost to the end. So here's an interesting one. This one will get people out of their seats. And there's, so here's the thing. There's nothing here. There is, improve the data loading speed on the server benefits all users now, blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah. Let's make it faster, sure. But here is the meat. And again, see the difference from the we will do this to this release focuses on optimizing two essential parts: the data model for table extensions. So already, speculation has run wild. Does this mean that they are gonna merge this all together? So we, instead of having one table per extension, so we got 4 extensions extending the customer table, so we have 5 tables and a join and all that. Are we getting back to one table and some magic SQL to keep track of what fields came from what extension and so on? The data model for table extension. Intriguing, right? Or are they just saying, okay, now we're gonna build the views a little smarter, or what does this actually mean? This is potentially very, very interesting. And if we're into speculation territory here at 37 minutes into the video, if they're changing the model, us that are only working in cloud, we don't care how data is stored. We just, we want it faster and cheaper and better and all that. But if you're on-prem and you already start joining and using views and stuff like that, and then they're just doing this, and all your direct SQL stuff is not going to work. Interesting. The other one, the use of modern data types for Boolean and blobs. Booleans, I think, are already a bit. I'm actually not sure what modern data types. I think for blobs there are different ways of doing binary. So sure, there might be. I really don't care about that one. This one is interesting, and I'm looking forward to see something here in September. And then we got the usual, let's make stuff faster. Running country-specific long-running reports and renumbering general journal entries and validating the sales order subform field for tax. Where, again, hey, we will do. I like this. So, generate reports 128 accounts receivable for larger data set. Because that report is it genius or madness? It's weird. If you ever want to go down a pull your hair out trip, go look at reports like that. Assigning serial numbers and posting reservation entries. So I think I was actually going to do a video on how really unintuitive the whole let's create a sales order with a serial number is. and then I decided that would just be a weird video. But maybe I can create a video now saying how easy it has become in version 23, because it's really, really weird in 22 and old, and yeah. Okay, yeah. Pages load faster in client. Sure, every reach we want it to be faster. So good. Performance gain reducing logs in the database. I'll take that one. Change the default logging behavior in AL from serialized read to read committed. This will probably mean that in some cases, where you read something, you like read the last something to get the next number plus, get the next. We need to add an extra log table. I'm actually not sure how this is gonna play out with changing the logging behavior. But serialized read to read committed, that might need, I don't know. Do we need suddenly in some cases to add an extra log table to ensure that the read? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. And now are you still with me? We have 41 minutes. This is a long list. I hope you're still with me. If you are, thank you. The last one here is user experience, and the stuff is flying around here. Add existing table fields to optimize your pages. So this one I find interesting, because this is one of the things that I can do with the simple object designer, that you can add fields that are not on a page but are in the table to the page, and Microsoft is now, we're also unlocking table fields so that administrators, department owner, and partner consultants can easily and immediately add them to their pages without having to develop code extensions or use the simple object designer. We do so much more with the simple object designer these days anyway. So I guess I can only say welcome to the club, Microsoft. Interesting. There are some, if you notice who can do this, because there's a lot of fields that are now never supposed to be exposed. There are lots of fields that if you allow a user to type in them, you're just gonna break the system. So consequently, this frees up more time for pro developers to focus on. Yeah, I agree. That's what we do with the simple object designer. Go to the data search from anywhere in Business Central. So we have the new data search function. So if you type something and tell me, you can click to now search company data, which is, yeah, I guess that's a cheap way of adding that. I would love to just actually have it do this, but they may think that this is too expensive. While we have this, one other thing that I have started to find annoying is the get from app source list, which I like. I think that's very cool. The annoying part is that if you install an app, and then you keep get this app from app source, even though you already have it. So I would love to see this list where they would filter out the apps that you already installed. So why get this app? We already have it. Anyway, maybe that's just me. It's just is that just me? Let comments and all that. But yeah. So and now they're helping with the browser tab. So if you have multiple Business Centrals open, it should be possible to tell them apart, and you can share the links more easily and so on. So I like that. And peek at summarized data from editable fields. So right now, if you're on list box and you have like the customer number and you mouse over that, then you get a little box about who the customer is. But you don't get that peek functionality on a card. You do now. And here's a big one. Search for pages and data in the mobile app. So I'm actually using the mobile app. I find the mobile app is a great way to quickly go in and check something in my Business Central, but it's kind of annoying that I can't search and get to all the places. So I need to create a mobile role center where I jam pack everything that I need access to. So now we get a search function. Finally, I like it. And the very last one, use actions to navigate or fix errors from inline validation errors. So we kind of already got that in 22. So we have the error actions. There's a video on that, but Microsoft have not really used it themselves. So now they're going to use it themselves, and hopefully more places. So I like that. And that's it. So a pretty long list, and from the dev perspective, there's not much there, but there's a lot of love for the app, and I can only approve that. I think it's overdue. The app needs a lot of love, and several of these items were like a first step and stuff like that. So I think 23 is looking to be a great release, and there's some intriguing parts. The intercompany stuff is great. The data model for table extensions, that's interesting. So if you're still with me 46 minutes into this and you need some AL hacking, because everybody needs some AL hacking, whoops, here it is. Go check it out. It's a good one. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.